In this video, we're going to look at creating an invite for a survey. So in previous ones, we've looked at sending a survey, which basically sends out an email that comes from Forms Pro automatically, and that uses the email template from within Forms Pro. What we're going to look at instead is what if you want to actually send the email out using a different mechanism than the Forms Pro email, which actually gets sent from an email address that you can't change, but you want to send it from your own email addresses, or you want to send it from Gmail or something like that. So let's go ahead and look at that process. So what I've done here is just so we can see kind of the power of what you could do with this. We've got a survey, and in there I've done some personalization. So I've added in the first name of the recipient. So I'm basically saying, tell us how we're doing. We've just basically closed a case recently, and we are using the case number and the case title. And then we've just got another question that's Net Promoter Score, and then what's the reason for that score. So just very basic, very simple. If you haven't seen how to do the personalization before, have a look on my YouTube channel and you'll be able to find one. I'll also put a link that'll pop up in this video, and you can click on that if you want to get to it. So we've got our survey set up. So if we were doing the email from within Forms Pro and we do our send survey and we did a send email, then we'd be able to pick what the template was and we'd be able to go ahead and send it, right? So what we want to do instead is we want to go ahead and we want to get essentially the link that displays right here. So where we've got this start survey, and that's a link to the survey. We want to basically be able to get that invitation link to that personalized survey for the person, and then pull it into an email that we can send out from Exchange. So I'm going to go into Microsoft Flow, and I've got a survey that I've got a flow that I've created. So the trigger is when a record is updated, and that's when a case is updated. So the first thing we do, and we've done this in another video, so these steps and explaining it in more detail, but what essentially we're doing is we're first of all checking to see if that case is resolved. So to do that, we're basically looking at the status reason value is equal to 5. Okay, now if not, we don't want to do anything, but if yes, I'm doing this as a very simple flow, and I'm just assuming that in this instance a case will always have the contact as a customer rather than potentially a contact or an account. So again, look through the videos, and if you want to see how you do it for contact or account, then you'll see that in another video and a different flow. So what I'm doing is I'm saying yes, if the case is resolved, I'm going to get the contact, and the item identifier for that contact is the customer. Oh, if I can type customer. So basically that customer, that is our identifier to basically be able to get the right contact. So again, this will only work just having the contact if you always have a contact in that customer field on your case. Some of you might, some might not, so just keep that in mind. So I'm getting the customer. Then what I'm doing is I'm basically creating an invitation. Now this is an action that if you search for the Forms Pro connector, so if I just show you here, so if we just pretend we're going to add in another action and I type in Forms Pro, we've got these two actions here, create an invitation. The send a survey one is the one that I've used in a lot of the other videos. So this is create an invitation. So when I've got that create an invitation step, I'm basically saying which survey do I want to create an invitation for. I'm also saying what is the email address that it's going to be sent to. The email address is from the get contact step. If I then click to show the rest of the fields, remember on that survey we were basically we wanted to be able to show the first name of the person. Last name, that's one of the parameters, that is a default parameter. I've pulled it in, I don't actually have it on the survey. Then what we've got is the ability to set that invitation to something. So that regarding field that you always have on an email or an activity, we're basically going to set this survey invitation regarding the case, and the recipient will be the contact. So we have to put, and if you don't know this, the case entity in the database is called the incident. So we have to put incident and then a comma and then basically the case ID from the trigger. So if I go ahead and put in case, the trigger is that when that record is updated, so when that case is updated, we're going to pull and use the case ID. So that's what goes in here. And then for the recipient details, we do the contact and we find the contact ID and we put that in there. Then what we've done is, remember on the survey, if I go back to this, we have case number and case title. So we've got these as two parameters. We need to then tell Flow where am I getting that case number from? Where am I getting that case title from? So even though I've called those parameters the same thing, I could have called them anything. I could have just said number and title rather than giving them the actual names. So this allows me to say, what do I want to populate in for the case number where we display that on the survey? What do we populate into the case title? So again, I'm getting those from the step of when the record was updated, so that trigger, so we're pulling those over. Okay, so what we're doing first of all is we're creating an invitation. Now what that does is this gives some information that we can pass through and actually create a link. So our final step is we're going to send an email. When that case is closed, that's what's going to be the end result, is we want to send an email that says, hey, we closed this case, blah, blah, blah. Now what we can do is we can customize, not only can we customize the body of the email, but actually we can customize the body of the email here, right? So we can get the feedback and we can customize this and we can put in information. What we can't do is customize the subject using parameters. In other words, we can't say, please fill the survey out, Megan. We can only set a subject that is used for every single email that goes out. But in the flow, we can customize that subject. So in the to field, we've got the email, and the email is from the get contact step. Then what I'm doing in the subject, I'm saying case closed, and then the case number, and then I'm saying how did we do? So every time this is run from when that case is closed, it will then go ahead and pull in the case number from that case. So already we're starting to make that experience for the customer more informative, more interactive. They know exactly why they're getting this email, because this specific case was closed. Now what we're doing is, because I'm using the step to send an email, we can basically use HTML tags to kind of make it look a little bit nicer. So I've got line breaks. I'm saying hi, first name. So again, I'm able to pull in the first name from the get contacts step. Oh, first name. So I'm able to pull in that first name here. And then I'm saying we recently closed the following case for you with the case number and the case title. In order to provide the best quality service to you, blah, blah, blah. Then what I'm able to do is, we've got from that create an invitation step, we've got the invitation ID and an invitation link. The link is what we want. We're not going to do anything with the invitation ID in terms of putting it in an email. Now, if I just put the link in just on its own, it's just going to be a very long string. It will be a hyperlink, but it'll be ugly. We don't want that. We want to actually have it to where it's a hyperlink that says something that it makes sense. So I'm going to have it say complete feedback survey. So what we need to do is we need to use a little HTML markup, and it's very simple. We just start with the less than sign and then a space href equals, and then the start of a quote, and then we use the invitation link value when we put that into the flow, and then we close it with the quotes, and then we do the greater than sign. Then you put the text that you actually want to display as the link, and then you close that off by doing less than /a and then the greater than sign, and that will give you a hyperlink with the words complete feedback survey or whatever you've put in between there. And then finally, we've just put a little bit more information. Thanks for your continued business, blah, blah, blah. So that is our flow. So let's go to a case and let's go ahead and just resolve it. And yes, this is done. And we'll go ahead and resolve. So we'll give that a moment. But now what that should be doing is if we go back to our flow and look, let's just give this a moment, and it's running right now, and perfect. So it's run successfully. So we can see there that the record was updated. Yes, it was resolved. We checked it. Yes, that was true. So therefore we got the contact. The contact information is in here. We created the invitation for that specific case, and you can see there it got the case number and it got the case title, and then we pulled in this information. So there we have the email, and we can see there we've got "Hi Gemma," and we've got the case number and we've got the case title, and there we've got that hyperlink that I created. So we're going to go ahead and click on that. And how cool is this? So now we can see there's the person's name, and we can see we recently assisted you with the following case, and there's the case number and the case title. So really cool way of being able to send out your email so that when your customers receive the emails, they see it coming from you, or they see it coming from support@abccompany.com, rather than the Microsoft email address that's used if you're sending it out using a flow and doing the send survey. If you use the create invitation step, then you'll be able to customize those emails and actually send it from yourself instead. So hopefully that helps, and you can go ahead and start using this action. Hi, I'm Megan Walker. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and that you learned something from it. If you don't want to miss out on any other content, you can go ahead and click on my face below to subscribe. And if you want to watch the next video, you can do that by clicking over here and go ahead and get started. Thanks again.